Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, this will be the wait tonight you've been waiting for on Sportzwire Radio. You know, our guests may say that they were riots in the ring. They may call themselves Buffalo's Unwanted. They might be even having a house party coming up in October. They might even say they're House of Misfits Entertainment. But tonight, they're live in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And these guys have got a huge event coming up this Saturday that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about their journey. We're going to talk about some different things and different places you've seen them in. I don't know, WZW, XTZW, RWA. Yes, I'll mention RWA. I'll mention some names that have recently been here on Sportswire Radio. I'll even talk with them, yes, about that riot in the ring. One guy wanted to be there. The other guy, well, he certainly wanted to get right back to the 716. We'll compare our ends of the state. They're in Western New York, as they wanted to remind me. I'm in, well, as downstate as you could get. Well, in Staten Island, formerly via Brooklyn, we're almost the same thing. And we're going to talk about their journey, maybe even a Copper Dragon match or two that was rated. We'll talk about a man that means a lot to this company and to this state and to the community and whatever else you want in between. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that so many of their peers have gotten this introduction, such as the likes of, I don't know, he used to be Jake Matthews, he's now Jake Dvorak. Gabe Sayers, a man that on the left certainly had a dance with, and I'm sure he'll talk about that. And this guy, Rob O'Malley, who's also from New York, but let's say a little closer to me, but still not quite to me. And this other guy, Havoc, Stephen Havoc, who obviously that man on the left, he certainly had a war or two with that maybe people are still talking about right now in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. And so many of the peers of theirs in NEW and that riot in the ring have gotten an introduction. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to finally also introduce some New Yorkers here on Sportswire Radio, because we only had a couple of them. We had obviously Mr. O'Malley and, well, Mr. Havoc and another guy that goes by three initials, but I won't ask these guys about him, but if you watch this platform, you'll definitely know who I'm talking about. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, it is my great honor to finally introduce these guys and give them that introduction that they've deserved. So with without further ado, here on the Sports About number one sports show. They may call themselves Unwanted. One of them may be in the cleaners, but simply put, ladies and gentlemen, we will call them here on this platform Shark and Mickey Fellas, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Doing all right.
Chilling.
No, hopefully your voice will do better for each of you than mine after this show, because I do these every single night. But it's a great honor to have you guys here, especially in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And I'm very excited. There's a lot to talk about here with you guys. And it's always good, as I said, to speak with somebody actually from our state, even though we're in kind of opposite ends of the state. But it's always still good to meet fellow New Yorkers, because I do this every night, and I really haven't met too many New Yorkers live on Sportswire, except for a couple of names we'll get to, but let's talk about current events here first. Let's obviously go right into it. So for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio, as I stated, in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where wrestling matters, Shock and Mickey Vargas, tell us what we can expect over in House of Misfits Entertainment, Yard K2, which you guys are going to be taping here this coming Saturday. Tell us what we can expect.
Oh, this Saturday, I won't talk too much about everything, but it is our biggest show of the year. It's like our WrestleMania. I like to see some of the biggest and best matches of the years. I myself am in a ladder match for Tag Team Gold, one of my first ladder matches in probably 3-4 years. And then Big Rig over here is in the main event for himself, looking to take home the head of the household championship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, and I'll put some of the links up here shortly, Mr. Vargas. Since I saw you in Massachusetts, you've now got less hair, but you actually look better now. You might look like a champion coming up here this weekend. So talk about what we could expect from you. Obviously, Kevin Brooks is the champion, and you've been going back and forth with him here for a bit. And tell us what we can expect here from your vantage point here this Saturday.
Well, this Saturday is definitely going to be a turning point in my career for sure. I'm in the triple threat, not only with Kevin Brooks, but Keyballs. Don Keyballs also weaseled his way in there somehow. I'm oblivious to it, but, to each their own. Doesn't matter to me. The outcome is still going to be the same, and that outcome is going to be me leaving that match with the title around my shoulder. And honestly, me and Brooks, we've had some history. Last year, he beat me at the first Yardcade. How? I don't know. You ask me that question, I won't have an answer. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody always has differences of opinions or different stories on this, but let me ask you guys a general question. I'll come back to some of these matches. I'll actually put some of the footage up on the screen from last week's show, and you guys talked about this is your biggest show of the year. This is almost like your WrestleMania. So talk about how motivated you guys are, especially after what I saw you guys in being in the riot in the ring, and especially you, Shock, as you did. You had a hell of a tournament there, but how motivated are you guys to put on a really big show? It's your WrestleMania.
Well, for me personally, I don't know. I have a personal vendetta, not just with myself, but with a couple, if people know who they are. I try to be. I want to be one of the best out there, one of the best who never made it big. And
well, you're on Sportswire. I think you've made it big here. You've become like, the thing. I'm here every single night, so I happen to think you're actually on your way to making it big because you're here.
I appreciate that, but
you're welcome.
As far as what to expect, how to prepare, I don't know. It's mentally there's no way to prepare for an actual ladder match, but just like there was no way to prepare for thousands of thumbtacks in my freaking back and in my head and my head. There's no way to prepare for it. There's, like I said, my last ladder match was 4 years ago. Luke and I are no strangers to the ladder match, but it's going to be like a human car wreck. And to compare it again to that Ride in the Ring opening match,
oh my goodness! I'm sure you're aware. I know you're aware because we spoke quite a bit. What you and Stephen Havoc did. You showed that you're not necessarily a hardcore guy, but you went in there and you took everything that he threw out there and you found a way to win, and you used it and to get as far as you did. Let me ask you though a different question, and I'll come back to Mickey. But your last ladder match was 4 years ago, which is obviously an eternity, and let alone in the world. Do you go back and watch that footage to prepare for that, or what? How relevant is that match, at least in terms of the preparation going into this Saturday?
That match is actually, I like that you asked me that. That match is very, very relevant. It's very prevalent to the history of the guys that were all in the match together. The last match we did the last ladder match was a triple threat ladder match. There was 3 teams of 2. Luke and I put our XTCW tag titles up, and we ended up retaining them. One of the teams that was in that ladder match is going to be the team that we're facing. It's the team of JTA and E-Breeze. These guys.
Oh, I watched you guys. I know you were in singles matches this past week. You guys were just going back and forth.
Yeah, those guys, they've come a really long way. The history of how it started was a little rocky, but how we are now, it's those guys. They're some of the best. I wish they would get more involved into the community like we are. They're some of the best that I've personally ever been in the ring with in the last probably 5 years.
Wow, and you've been in that. I mean, you had a tag team partner that's right now doing really well, and you've had some big matches. So that's some big praise you've got there, Mr. Shock.
Yeah, that JTA I met about 5 years ago is when I met them, and it's like day and night. When JTA and E-Breeze, who they were then compared to who they are now, they're freaking machines compared to what they were then. And
I was watching what some of you guys have put out there, and obviously a man that I sponsor, Mr. Dragon, who thinks Copper Dragon, for those that don't know, he thinks very highly of you guys, and I can definitely see why in terms of some of the just pound for pound wrestling you guys put out there, and I'm very excited about the show coming up. But Mickey, talk to me about at least the champion, Kevin Brooks. You've got a lot of history with him, and talk about what kind of champion he is for the audience that is hearing his name for the first time, and how you're going to be able to combat him.
Buddy.
Yes, I try.
The biggest piece of shit that you could ever think of.
Right? Thank you. We have a lot of them on Sportswire that come on here, and I might be one of them. But go ahead, the floor is yours.
He is the biggest piece of trash you could ever think of, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, right, who, when the times got tough, he turned his back on his friends. Who does that?
That's a good question. I have to get back to you on that. Let me know
This man is the biggest snake in all of wrestling. He snaked his way into a title position. What hasn't this dude snaked his way into? He hasn't earned a single thing.
And that's going to make him, for you, more sweeter to take that championship away from, with everything that he's done to kind of, from your vantage point, almost bamboozle himself into a world title.
Bamboozle. Everything you can think of. He's a legit, in my eyes, he is the paper definition of a paper champion. All right. He is just holding that. He's keeping that belt warm for me because I don't want it to get cold.
Now, that's a fair point, but you've got a third component into the match recently added in Don Keyballs. How does he factor into this then?
To be honest, I'm not really worried about Keyballs.
Why?
He really has his own little personal thing with Kevin Brooks. They have their own little beef.
So you're counting on them to beat each other up, and you can kind of come in through.
That's my plan. So far, that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on Keyballs just beating the hell out of Brooks, and I take the scraps.
Is that the smart strategy that you know for sure is going to work?
Oh, no. Do I know for sure it's going to work? No. So I got a plan B. And even if that plan B don't work, I got a plan C. And if that plan C don't work, I got one all the way down to Z.
Well, I'm going to actually say I'm not going to wind up asking you about those plans because that means your opponents would be hearing it. But what I would ask you, though, for the audience is what would it mean to you to be the world champion, the head of the household? What would that mean to you?
Well, a lot of everything. And right now, where I'm at in wrestling, everything. I've been doing this for almost 9 years. I've only held one real title, and that was in RWA.
Yes, you were the Latin American heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. The good old RWA. Yes, I know a lot about the RWA. I watched you guys. Actually, I did watch you guys in the RWA. We actually watched you guys last year in the RWA. So yes, that was, well, we're not going to spend an hour and a half on RWA. Let's just put it that. Maybe when we do like a Vice special one day on Sportswire Radio, I'm sure RWA will come up then. But right now, we'll spend time on, thankfully, something a lot more, I think, more friendlier and household friendly.
For sure. Well, sure. But it would mean everything. I mean, I personally feel like I put my dues into this business that we do.
Absolutely.
I feel like I more than deserve this title shot. I've been screwed out of more than I can think of.
9 years almost in this sport, only one title. I mean, that's guys come on here. My guest yesterday, Matsuda, was a 16-time world champion in 15 years, meaning he held the title every year. And yet you've been here and you've done some pretty big things, and yet 9 years into it, just about in one championship. So you're fighting for a lot here. You're fighting really. You are fighting to solidify your career.
This match, in my personal opinion,
talk to me.
The Riot is what makes Mickey Vargas' name.
But you know what? I would even go further in saying that this could make more of your name because, as we know in the Riot, you didn't really want to do much in the Riot, but this is your home. This is your home company. So you could show that you're no longer unwanted. You could show that you're no longer a part of being a house of misfits, and you could be a top guy for a company that seems to be setting off and looking into doing some big things coming up toward the end of this year. We'll have to find out for sure. I'm going to take this off the screen here. I know there's a lot of people that want to say hello, but before I do that here, let me get to a couple of links here. I'd like to let people support our friends here over at House of Misfits, Backyard Wrestling. They're on Instagram. They're on YouTube. You want to follow Shock, he's on Instagram. Mr. Vargas is Mickey Vargas 716, not to be confused with 718. I'm from 718. They're from 716. You want to support them on TikTok, Instagram. I have the YouTube page up here shortly. I'm going to bring up, I have a lot of comments. Let me get to them here first because that's what we do on Sportswire Radio. Zilla is kind of like our resident chatterbox, chat expert bot. Maybe, I don't know, but she would like to say she respects both of you. But the big mystery is who is Zilla. But for now, we say hello to Zilla, and she says hello to you, gentlemen. The man you referenced, Mr. Draven himself, your other half in the cleaners, and you guys were going back and forth with it. He's very happy. We thank him for tuning in as well. And a guy that's become one of my favorites, Rob O'Malley. Good old Rob.
Party time. It's on now.
He is the definition of a House of Misfits entertainment guy. He's a little bit more away from Western New York. He's more in the Amsterdam area, but still, nevertheless, he's still a compadre. Did you guys ride together during the Riot in the Ring, or you guys went separately?
Separately. He rode with Steph up the Riot in the Ring.
All right, because and obviously you guys worked together in that ill-formatted or ill-fated RWA. So, yes, that's where we, may have known each other for the first time. But, yes, we'll come back to Mr. O'Malley. I think you referenced him already. So, there you go. How you doing? Good to be with you. My friend Xavier Thorne, who's here. Good old Xavier Thorne. Yes, I don't think you'd be near Copper Dragon on your best day, but thank you, Xavier Thorne, for tuning in. And, yes, merchandise, definitely let us know about merchandise, but we're here now talking House of Misfits entertainment, backyard wrestling, the Sportswire chat community. It's always the peanut gallery. What I have to say, Joe Starr. I think you guys know Joe Starr very well. He says hello. Joe Starr is making quite a name for himself in NEW, and obviously Mr. Dragon says shout out to the cleaners. Stefan Havoc is in the house, which I knew was coming. It's MFN main event, Mickey Vargas, and all hail King Shock. Yes.
Get it right, motherfucking Mickey Vargas, main event, Mickey Vargas.
Well, we're about to get reckless, according to Luke Draven. Mr. Jake Dvorak, obviously a man that we all know individually, says good evening to all of us. And also, I don't know what Atomic Titan has to do with tonight's show, but I mean, that might be tomorrow's show, but tonight it's Vargas and Shock. So I don't know what I don't know. Atomic Titan is tomorrow's show on Sportswire. That's tomorrow. But thank you, Xavier Thorne, for giving us the comment, I suppose. I mean, listen, people want to chat, and we're fortunate to have a lot of people out there. New champ, hashtag Mickey 2024. And yes, we definitely could potentially see that. And thank you, Xavier Thorne, again for recognizing you. Yes, I will recognize you, and I appreciate you being 400 days as champion. Mickey deserves it. It's time. And you feel like it's your time, Mickey?
I know it's my time. There's a big difference between feeling it and knowing it.
Yeah.
Beyond feeling. I felt it years ago, but now I know it.
The last 2 years, Mickey's been on a rise, and it's been a fucking meteoric rise. And right now, he's ready to crash the fuck out and take that title.
Well, that's what we want to hear on Sportswire. We don't want to hear people and go, I might win or I might. No, we want to hear you're going to take the title. Want to say hello to one of my new favorites here, Woo Riders DG. Hello from Florida. I am from the 904. Where exactly is the 904 again in Florida? Because I don't know the Florida geographic scale, but I'll have to ask some of my friends in Florida. Do they have? Actually, it's a good question.
Search up my name, bro. It's still there somewhere.
Well, I was gonna say, does MySpace still exist as a website? Is it like still?
No.
Oh, it's a music app now. Wow. Okay. Is Tom like alive? Is he still alive?
He should be.
I made on Facebook.
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not Tom. But okay, let me get to some more comments here. I used to live in the Watertown, New York area. Very nice. They're a little further away from Watertown, but that's I know Watertown very well. Also, Rob wants to say, "Let's go." You all know what time it is. Upstate, stand up. Yes, we're definitely standing up. And do you consider Rob O'Malley upstate? I think you feel like you won't. You consider.
We do more upstate Central New York. He rolls with the WCW guys. That's where him and
yes, and we're going to definitely talk about that for sure. I appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate all those new subscribers out there. And also Jacksonville. Yes, Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville. I have no issues with Jacksonville, so let's go Jacksonville. Main event, Mikey got a great ring to it. Definitely got to step up to you. Definitely, yes, we definitely want to see some of that here for sure. And Xavier is definitely recognizing you. We appreciate that, Xavier. Thank you for your obviously great comments. Okay, so let me ask you guys a general question with the show. And I ask this to people all the time. So I want to do this. I know I'm going to get people here for the first time that are kind of listening and watching this. So what are your goals for both of you guys individually the rest of this season in House of Misfits Entertainment Backyard Wrestling? What's your goals?
So right now, personally, it's to get a whole tag team thing going down at home. There were a couple tag teams that fell out, but Luke and I are the main representative of this. We've been a tag team at XCCW at home, and those run hand in hand together to history. Luke and I together are 3 or 4 time tag team champions. We're looking to lock in that 5th one at Yardcade, and it's going to be a war, and if I don't know if I can't win it, I'm going to have to take a step back and reevaluate a couple of things.
Ooh, oh well, boy, that's a mouthful you said there, Mr. Shock. You definitely shocked us there. But for you, Mr. Vargas, I would imagine the goal is to win the world title, but I still ask you anyway. What are your goals here for this rest of the year?
Other than winning the world title, that's an obvious.
For sure.
To become the longest reigning head of the household champion there ever is and there ever will be. That's my entire goal. And not only to become the longest reigning, but I want to be a fighting champion. I'm gonna be a fighting champion. I'm not gonna cower away like Kevin Brooks. I'm actually gonna sit here and defend my championship.
Well, we're going to certainly find out. I think, obviously, that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to check out. And if you want to follow our friends here, that's their YouTube channel. This is what I want from people here. You're here. You're going to watch us on the replay. And we know the power of Sportswire Radio. We know all the companies that come on here and the subs go up. I want everybody that's here or is here eventually hit that sub button for our friends. I want to get them to 350 subs. I want to get them to 400. I want to get them to 500. Just like you've gotten me almost to 1,000 subs. I'm almost there. I want to get these fine young gentlemen, their company, to 350, to 400, to 500, so they can get there and get some of the recognition that they deserve here. We're about All Wrestling Matters. Let's make them misfits no more. Let's make them unwanted no more. Let's certainly take everybody to the cleaners and get those subs up here, because let's support these guys coming up here. You know, I want to talk about a couple things. I'll come in to let's stay on home for a minute. Talk to me about some of the other stars that maybe we'll get a chance to see if you're watching here for the first time, or you're in the community on this platform that, hasn't really heard much about you guys up until really now. Who are some of the other stars we can see on your arcade 2 that we should all be excited about?
Oh, man. My best friend in the home, my homie, Onyx.
I knew you were going there. I knew that was coming. That's why I served one up for you in a silver platter. All right, let's talk about him.
Let's talk about him. What do you want to know? I mean,
you tell me. Well, you're here. Tell us what we can expect, because I know obviously you and him have had this whole.
So my man Onyx in the arcade 2, he's in the Blanks Memorial. And for anyone who doesn't know what the Blanks Memorial Cup
I was going to get into that. Yep.
It's essentially our Money in the Bank, if you want to put it like that. If you have the Blanks Memorial Cup, you can cash it in on whichever champion you want. Head of the household, resident championship, anyone.
Gauntlet Eliminator match. It's not really Money in the Bank, but Gauntlet Eliminator.
I can guarantee you, I would put my life savings on it, everything I own, on my best friend Onyx to come home with that.
Well, I'm going to make you laugh, Mr. Vargas. There's a lot of people on this platform that would actually love me to do that because that means they would hit the lotto. So good thing is that you're not taking my life savings. You might want to take my life savings because actually you would be like winning a lotto ticket. I get reminded by that by my own mother even sometimes. So, it's almost like winning a lotto ticket. Somebody would actually get my life savings, but you're that confident, huh?
Oh. Nothing but confidence in my best friend.
You're a confident guy, I see. I got to tell you, I saw you a little bit in NEW. I saw you a little bit in that company last year, but I got to say, you're a confident guy. Maybe confidence breeds success for those around, like Onyx.
Well, you could be confident when you got the skill to back it up. You know what I mean? Like, I walk it how I talk it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Iron sharp.
Well, we're seeing some of that here on the screen, and I'm very excited to see about what's coming up. I'll put some of the posters up in a few minutes. I mean, who are some of the other stars that I think our audience should get a chance to maybe feel what they might bring to the table coming up here on one Saturday show?
Quite a few down at home. There are a lot of young guys. Mickey's a young guy. Onyx is a young guy. I'm about 10 years older than them. I'm getting up there in age. Right now, keep your eye out for E-Breeze. Keep your eye out for JTA.
Yes, so JTA, yes, we definitely saw. I think Draven and JTA had a hell of a match on this show coming up. Yeah,
he's on the rise. Luke Draven right there. Got to go with the last guy in the unwanted. Got to go with the bag boy, I call him, Torrance Banks.
Torrance Banks. Copper Dragon rated Torrance Banks first. Mickey Vargas, he rated.
I think he rated 2 of my matches.
Yeah.
Did you like the one he gave you a 5.5? I tend to think you probably would have said, some guys in this.
Was that mine and Jeff's, Matt? Was that mine?
I actually have it. I could put it up on the screen in a minute, but it was last year. It was last year in home. I want to say it was last May, if I'm not mistaken. You had a match with Torrance Banks last. Yeah. 5 point. He liked it, but he gave you a 5.5.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to hear this from Mr. Dragon because he messages me on Instagram daily. So you're going to go, Tom, why did you bring that up? Well, I mean, that's what we do here. But I'll come back to that. But, JTA is a guy. It's funny you said that, Mr. Shock, because I was watching what he brings to the table. And I think this is a guy that a lot of people should really keep an eye on because of what he brings to the table and just some of the stars that you have. He might be one of those guys really to maybe pay attention to most, especially because, you're going to be in the ring with him coming up this Saturday.
JTA, I always compare him to a modern-day Bam Bam Bigelow. He's big, but he can fucking move.
It's a good line. That's a good one. It's a good one. Big Bam Bam Bigelow was a big guy, could go off the top rope.
Oh, yeah.
He's versatile. And another local guy trained at the Monster Factory by Iron Mike Sharp, Asbury Park. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely a guy, big, but maybe Big E even a little bit. Big E was another guy that maybe not as.
That's more than E-Breeze style. That guy, he's got more power than you'd know. E-Breeze has got more power than anybody I know.
No, they got more power than me. I could clearly tell that. There's nothing about that. I mean, I'm the first to admit it, but no, I think that you guys have got some really good mesh of people. Let me ask you though this question: do you guys specifically? Have you built a roster around that and where you want a mix of veterans and a mix of young talent that kind of stand out in what they do overall in the ring? Is that kind of by design?
It's honestly kind of by accident. It's just these guys we've all been training together and hanging out and friends with each other for so long that it's literally, it's like I said a little bit ago, it's iron sharpens iron in that type of situation. If you see somebody's match is good, it makes you want to be a little bit better. And if somebody's match is better, it makes your match want to be great. And it makes you want to carry that on and keep that pace going throughout the night.
Absolutely, and please support our friends over at Home Backyard Wrestling. I can't stress this enough. Let's support those that support us. And well, they're from my state. They're actually from my home state. So they're not quite from my hometown, but still they're from my home state. Let's support them. Let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to probably make you guys laugh here because I was watching some of your stuff. I went back and watched some of the footage. So how do you guys do these shows like in January, December, February? Because I was watching some of it, and I know right now for what the audience may or may not see is that you guys have the yard, well, not the yard, but the ring in the garage. You're kind of outside. It's sort of facing the yard. But in the wintertime, you don't have that luxury. So, I mean, how do you guys all bundle up and be able to make shift of it? Because in the summer, it's a lot easier. But how do you guys pull that off in the wintertime?
Well, you just got to make do with what you got. We put a little space heater in there. We close the doors.
Everyone gathers around the ring. Doesn't matter if it's a crowd of 10 or a crowd of 30. We gather around that ring like it's a PWG show. And
that's a good one because, it's so funny because I watch a lot of wrestling. As I'm sure you gentlemen know, I watch a lot of backyard and underground wrestling specifically. I watch WWE and AEW, but I watch it, but I don't really watch a lot of it. I know what's going on. If somebody asked me, I would know the players. But I watch a lot of backyard and underground wrestling. Also a mix of hardcore wrestling because it's obviously kind of in our scene and guys go in and out. But what fascinated me so much is that you guys are kind of unique compared to a lot of companies that come on the platform because you have this kind of indoor-outdoor kind of thing. It almost reminds me of the old Olympic Stadium in baseball or the old Sky Dome in Toronto. It wouldn't be open, but you kind of have this really unique kind of setup, but also a lot of guys that really could go in the ring. I mean, there's some guys in a lot of places, that they're there for obviously to fill roster spots, but what I was fascinated most about you guys, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, because I watch a lot of wrestling. There's things I've opened my mouth up on, things I don't like, but really what I liked here most is that, all you guys had some level of skill set. And, I think that's a thing that maybe sets you guys up that's really unique is that your roster, you guys are all, I kind of almost feel like on the same par or maybe same level in terms of down to earthness, if that makes sense. And also the setup. You guys want to talk about that for the audience?
So we do it at the Booker's house. He ran XTCW, and when we had to close doors and we weren't allowed to, or we weren't able to afford the big warehouse we were in there,
sure,
we moved locations to his garage, and it honestly worked out for the better because a lot of the guys who left XTCW came with us over here, and he has all this DJ equipment and the curtains and the lights and pretty much party equipment and everything like that, and he set it up for us, and that's how it goes. He's got the big speakers, the DJ, I don't know, the app or whatever you call it on his laptop to run the music.
Yep. I know that stuff. Yep, sure. And maybe that gives you that advantage because of that setup and that equipment. It allows you guys to keep going, and also it must be a good feeling knowing that you guys can run year round. A lot of the feds that come on this platform, the big names, I'm sure you've heard those big names, and they have to stop in 3 months. But you guys, like you said, you're going to tough it out, put the heater on, and get the overcoats on, and hey, we're going to go out there. You can look at it from that standpoint, and that maybe gives you guys another advantage.
Yeah, it's when you're in there wrestling, especially in the wintertime, you work up a sweat, you gather all that heat. It all feels the same, honestly.
It gets to the point where you're like, yo, open the door, it's hot.
All right, fair enough. Let me get to some more comments. I know people want to tune in. They want to talk to everybody. Let me give a chance to people. I can see people are coming out here. Okay, let's go here. David Stewart, King Shock, and my best friend, Mickey Vargas here. David Stewart. How?
Yo, that's the Onyx.
Well, I hate when people say who it is, but obviously, hi, Mr. Onyx, and I hope you're doing well. And I think I like this Onyx more than the one in XCW because XCW, which is I'm not going to go there. It's a company that I do some work with, and I'll have some work with later on Sportswire tonight, and they have an Onyx. But I think I like your Onyx because he's a lot bigger. He looks like he might be a lot more deadlier, and he might win something that could help really propel his career as well coming up. So hello to him.
Best Onyx. I don't know what you're talking about. My Onyx is the best Onyx.
Well, in this circuit, I would agree. Although obviously everybody remembers the group Onyx with the song "Slam." Was the one wonder, yeah. The boy slam. Yep, that was one. That was the main guy was in a movie. Fredo Starr. It was Sunset Park when I was a little kid. Why do I remember that? Because they taped it right by my house when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn. But that is a long time ago. I was a baby. Now this is here in prime time. The Brightest Light. 6 years deep as a tag team. Wow, 6 years you guys have been together, huh?
Yeah, since about 2018. That makes sense. Yeah.
Wow, 2018, boy.
We were together because I ran an old backyard show, and we didn't really have many guys there, so I said, you know what, Luke, me and you were going to be a tag team. We won some bullshit tag team titles and dropped them again the same night, and we stuck together ever since then.
C2K wasn't available. I'm only kidding. We love C2K. How you doing out there, C2K? Nicholas Crenson, who I think might be my guest at some point tomorrow night. He is the man challenging for the WCE All-Out Championship, their World Championship. He is one half of the IMF Hardcore Tag Team Champions, an influential part of Summer Bash. I'll get to why that's important in a few minutes, but he just subbed. So there you go. I told you the power of Sportswire. 1 sub down, and also sub and support. 2 subs down. There you go. See, this is the people that put me to where I'm going. I'm going to put you guys right there next. I told you so. Breeze Hurts. I think Mr. Shot confirmed it. I believe this is the man. I think we kind of see on the screen right there, and he says hello. And it's good to see everybody here. And there you go. The word works here. It's almost like say their name and they appear, almost like Joe Hendry. And how you doing there, Mr. Torrance Banks? I think we follow each other, right? I think we're friends on Facebook, Torrance Banks. I feel like we're friends on Facebook. I have so many friends on Facebook, I lost count. But hey, guys, the camera lady. You have a camera lady here? Is that what you guys? I mean, would you guys pay the camera lady to come here? I'm only kidding.
Mrs. Craven, we call her.
Mrs. Craven, how you doing, Mrs. Craven? I hope you're enjoying the show here. I hope you are here with us, and I hope you tune into us anytime. I'm here pretty much every night, where basically, as some call me the voice of the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. I'm not sure why, but there are people that call me that. But I am very happy to be here, and these guys, man, love you all, brothers from other mothers. So, do we know who this is, or are we just?
Yeah, that's the homie Potter.
He's our commentator, our resident commentator.
Oh, yes, I saw him. I heard some of his commentary stuff. Yes, obviously. We love our commentators, so that way it's one less person that I have to compete with. So, yes, good to see you there, my friend. Thank you so much for your hard work. And Torrance confirms that we're friends, and I appreciate that. I have so many friends I forget. One of my friends who I think I'll see tomorrow at some point, or I always see her, he's a usual favorite here. One of the usuals on Sportswire Radio, Mr. Justin Parsley. I'm watching some of this. I obviously will continue to watch some of this here shortly. But, I want to ask you guys a question, if you don't mind. Now, I'm seeing some different people from this circuit on Sportswire Radio, and, you guys have something coming up here. It's in October. It's on October the 12th. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I have a poster here. I'm actually going to take this off this because I think people see what you guys bring to the table. I know this match, well, for those that didn't get a chance to see it, well, basically it goes into a no contest. But there's something you have coming up here. And it's a reason why I actually think it's pretty important for the audience to kind of see what it's about, because it's almost a house party. Actually, it is a house party. And we don't see house parties too often. And we have this here coming up. And it's on October the 12th. And I know there's a lot of people in the circuit here that go to Sportswire to figure out where they could go next. Or when you say house party, it's almost like, well, open invitation, open collaborations, all wrestling matters. So what could we expect here in this, house party? Are you sure, gentlemen, that everybody is invited? Is everybody invited? Is that for sure?
Bring them, I'll stack them up. Go ahead.
You stack them up, really, huh? Really, huh? Everybody's invited.
Not one person's not.
Was C2K invited? No comment. I'll give you a mulligan on that one. But really, so Now, I could throw some names out there, and I could just for sure that they're still invited. I could throw some names out there.
Yeah.
How about Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Mid-United?
If he wants to come, let him come through. Tell him to hit me up. You got my Instagram right there.
I definitely do. How about, I don't know, Mr. Justin Parsley? He's my PWF champion because I actually own 1/3 of the new PWF, which was formerly owned by Atomic Titan. He's also a 4-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, and he's a man that also is the second longest reigning XCW Tag Team champion in history, one half of it. And he was the Shawn Michaels of that tag team because the other guy, well, he was essentially furloughed. Would that include Justin Parsley from Indiana? Would he be invited?
Indiana, if you can come down, man, please, I will gladly book you.
How about Nicholas Crenson, who's in the chat? Nicholas Crenson, who's potentially my guest, or actually he is my guest tomorrow at some point in the evening, all the way from Wisconsin. He was a part of Summer Bash, just like Mr. Parsley. Would he be invited?
Man, he's gotta bring me a little gift from Wisconsin because I love that 70s show. He knows what I'm talking about. Come on.
Well, I tell you what I did like about that 70s show. I certainly am not going to mention Hyde because he's in prison for those that may or may not know. But I did like Donna Pinciotti. I definitely did like the redhead. I was definitely into the redhead. So Nicholas Crenson's invited. How about my buddy Mr. Sean Jovi, the resident rock star? Sean Jovi, the guy, America's resident rock star now. Is he invited?
Yeah, open invitation. Open invitation. You tell me, I'll put you in a match. I just got to know for sure that you're going to be there. That's all. Don't tell me the weekend of that you can't make it or anything like that because I hate that.
What about this guy who's in my chat who's a Samoan? He's an Oos. He's from Iowa. His name is Il Drago. Il Drago is one of those guys that would kind of fit into your circuit pretty well, fit into your Fed organization, whatever you want to call it. Would he be invited?
You had me at Samoan, so all day long. I get mistaken for Samoan a lot. I'm Filipino, half Filipino, so it's...
I wasn't going to ask that because, you know what, if I say something, I will literally get shot on this platform. Because days ago, I said something about somebody not having wrestling skills, and then they no joke had no wrestling skills. You know, that certainly was, I'm still paying for that. How about my friend Soldier GP? He's the IMF World Champion. He was the architect of the All Wrestling Matters event called Summer Bash, where everybody's still talking about it. Had over a dozen promotions that were part of it and listed in it. And what about Soldier GP? If he could get down here all the way from Iowa, what do you think on Soldier GP?
Come on down. I want the best.
You want the best?
I want the best.
What about my friend Big Man Cam, who's as big as Bigfoot, 6'17", size 39, and anybody, right? Big Man Cam can play on the team?
Bring him.
Okay, I got one more for you, a name that you both are gonna definitely know. How about this guy who's basically become this year's version of Jack Delta? He's the darling of the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. You actually shared a locker room with him. He was in the finals of the Riot in the Ring. His name is D'Angelo LaFlame, the supposed real raw energy of wrestling.
He told me he'll be there, so he's...
Wait. Time out for this. Did you just tell us in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, that D'Angelo LaFlame is guaranteed to show up at this party?
He told me he was the very first one when I threw out the first invites a few weeks ago. He said, you got my very first guarantee. You got my guarantee right now. And I said, all right,
wow.
I got you. He's going to wrestle this guy right here when he comes.
Whoa. We're getting Vargas and LaFlame, huh? What about my friend Joe Starr from NEW? You guys know him.
Joe Starr's got the invite. If he can get the weekend off, he can be here.
How about my buddies in Georgia, Vegas Storm? He's a heart of a warrior. Andre and Amelie. How about Mr. Hardcore and all those guys in future Atlanta Pro Wrestling? What about them?
Yeah, they're more than welcome. I love it. Andre and Amelie, come on, man. I've been hearing a lot about you. Let's go.
Oh, you've heard a lot about Andre and Amelie here. Wow, what a small world. What a small world. Boy, the word does travel. So you're saying that even guys anywhere, whether it's Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling, IMF, WCE, whether it's ROEW, whether it's ALW, whether it's DKW, whether it's who knows, whatever else, NEWs out there, anywhere.
Great White North, down in the Deep South.
How about Aaron Blaze, my buddy Aaron Blaze, the headline, Aaron Blaze.
Bring him on.
Wow. So this is really a party, huh? This is a real party.
I want them all.
Is this like the official end of summer party? Or is this the start of fall party? What do we label October 12th as for a party?
I don't know. October 12th. A lot of not that it has to do with anything. A lot of schools and colleges they do homecoming. So we'll see.
Well, because you guys are in Western New York, and you guys are what? What are you guys near? Canisius?
We got Canisius. We got UB, Buff State.
Oh, so you're definitely in party city over there. You're in party central. So yeah, October 12th is definitely up there. You're in mid semester, and that's the time that people go where for parties. And is that a yes or a no on Rob O'Malley?
Yeah. Rob O'Malley's in. He's totally in.
What about Mr. Jackson?
It wouldn't be a party without him. Period.
Well, what about the guy that, as you said, everybody, right? What about Shock, a man that you were in the ring with in that riot in the ring, and that guy named Gabe?
If he can be here, I will gladly put him in a match with Steph Havoc. Come on, Gabe. What do you got, bro?
Well, that's a good question. If he's going to Florida in November, he can stop by upstate, right? He can stop. Oh boy, how are you? Is that one of your future world champions here?
I'm Little Shock.
Little Shock. Boy, you should take over the microphone for me and interview your daddy. I'm sure a lot more people will be happy about that. Well, hello there, Little Shock. And Gabe said he's got empty pockets. He's broke. Well, maybe you'll take my inheritance. Who knows? But, okay, so everybody's invited. It's October 12th.
I especially want to make this known. I don't know if you know those guys, WTW down in Delaware.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do know Eddie Exile is part of that. And
yeah, that girl Viper?
Viper was supposed to be in the All Wrestling Matters hardcore tournament, but I'm not going to mention Viper and Tank in that.
Not flake on me, because I want in that. I want an intergender match. I got a checklist. Remember how Cody Rhodes had that checklist?
Yep. So I'm going to see RoboStoner is going to be a part of this too, then, huh? RoboStoner is going to be a part of this. Who's another guy in the All Wrestling Matters hardcore tournament, huh?
I told her bring them all, whoever you can bring, especially her. If she can't be there, my plan B is to go with Jake Dvorak, and I'll wrestle him happily. He's been waiting for that one for a long time.
Yeah, WTW, I could see that. That's a good one, WTW. Yeah, I would say JB Havoc, but he just left WTW, so I'd say, let's not go there. He was here on Sportswire, and he's going another direction. But Vegas Storm...
Let her know. I need that.
Well, Vegas Storm says, can the future Atlanta Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions come to the party? That answer would be yes, right?
Of course. You bring your tag team partner.
You shouldn't start like a New Year's Eve party. It sounds like almost like New Year's Eve with Shock almost. It used to be rocking New Year's Eve with Dick Clark. It sounds like more like rocking October 12th with Shock. It's almost like Shock's house! Whose house? Shock's house! Also here, Doc Holliday, another guy you know very well. You wrestled him and
Doc Holliday, what? He needs to be there. I'll put him, Gabe, and Steph Havoc in a triple threat death match.
Why don't you go back in a triple threat with both of them? You have unfinished business with them, no?
Yeah, Doc. I've been waiting to wrestle Doc Holliday for, oh my God, probably since I was 19 years old, and I'm about to be 31.
Do you know, I have to say something here, as we're here obviously with Shock and Mickey Vargas. They are a part of Home Backyard Wrestling, a.k.a. House of Misfits Entertainment Backyard Wrestling. Please support them on YouTube. Really, I can't stress this enough. Let's support them. I see everybody here in the chat. Hit that sub button for the guys. The guys are doing a great job. They're putting together another open collaboration, All Wrestling Matters event here. They've announced it here live on this platform, October the 12th. Go hit that sub button. I see more subs since we last went on the air. Go hit the sub button. If you're there right now, if you're hearing this chat, you're hearing from these guys, go hit the sub button for them. Let's support those that support us. Let's give those a chance that want to go out there and continue the legacy and continue to do the great things. Please support them. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. But, I got to say, Doc Holliday is one of those guys in this platform. I don't know how do I get Doc Holliday on? No, seriously, the last year, hey, Doc Holliday. Hey, one of these days, I think my birthday wish should just get Doc Holliday onto Sportswire, because my birthday is October 7th. So hopefully by the time my birthday is around the corner, Doc Holliday will be on Sportswire. What do I have? You know what? Actually, I'll handle this. Gabe, I see TF Crew has a Patreon page. I will sub to the Patreon page. I tell you what, Gabe, you said you're broke. I'm not wrestling you, so I don't have to worry about this. I will sub to the Patreon page.
No, hold up. Tom's only going to sub if you come to our show, Gabe. That's how it works.
Well, actually, that is a good point. So, Gabe, are you coming to the show October 12th? So, actually, we're going to do a 2-for-1. You know what? Thank you for being live on Sportswire.
That invite extends to you too. I'm waiting to see you too there.
I hope so. Obviously, I don't get an airplane ride, but he actually said this. Gabe said, "I'll make you a trade. You sub, and I'll get Dog on the platform." No, I think Mr. Shock wants you on his event, but yes, I will sub. I will give you obviously a thing on Patreon, and hopefully Mr. Holiday can come on to Sportswire Radio before my birthday because my birthday is October 7th. So no rush, no pressure, Doc Holiday. So my birthday is October 7th. So you know. Well, thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. But I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this. I want to spend a few minutes. I know there's a lot of things we have to talk about. I know I've only got so much time with you guys, but I'm really excited about this because it's good for the community that we have other things that people can get excited about. We just had Summer Bash, which a lot of people were a part of. You guys were a part of Riot in the Ring. Jake and Justin Abelsane are obviously now doing the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament. I've heard through the grapevine there's some other things coming down the pike in the Midwest. Let's just say in the state of Ohio and maybe Michigan. I'm wearing a shirt that's a clue. But I think it's great that we're seeing other people have that idea and seeing what's going on out there and do something really to bring people together that wouldn't have it. And I just want to commend you guys and everybody involved in home for putting together something that I think will be really cool for the community.
Appreciate it. We really try hard down there, and we don't think it. A lot of us think it goes unnoticed, or we think that it's just us that watch it. But it's nice to know that it's getting noticed.
No, and that's why it was important to bring you guys here. I know that we've talked about this for a while, and I think it's a good time. And obviously, leading up to the event, I want to, get you guys on here as much as I can, and obviously get us to where people can, find out more about this. I think it's important, and it gives people an opportunity. I think that's really just before we transition. And I think that's really what should be backyard and underground wrestling should be. Is, all too often I feel people say, it's this, it's that. But no, I think we have an opportunity because we're all in the same boat. We're all basically trying to better ourselves. We're all trying to be a part of a community. We're all trying to, make friends. We're all trying to see if we can wrestle different people, learn and, improve our traits. And I think this is another event where we could see some people really go out there and see something cool, but also help everybody else is fed, increase social media engagements. And I think that's really what it should be about. That's why, I started the hashtag at the start of this year, All Wrestling Matters, because I had felt that from my experience on this platform as a guy that spent a lot of time covering independent and British wrestling, that backyard and underground wrestling was getting disrespected. I felt that there was too much disrespect from people out there. So I decided to take the bull by the horn, and obviously support from a lot of people. Obviously the guys in the IMF, Soldier, Omen, the guys in the WCE, and some of the other guys, Justin Parsley and XCW, Anthony Steele, James Taylor, the usuals that come on the platform that have been really helped with it. ROEW, certainly all those great guys there. And now I'm seeing guys in my state take that bull by the horn. Obviously, alongside Jake and Justin, they've been, so supportive and so friendly. So I'm happy to see that. Congratulations on that. We'll definitely have more coverage of that. But I know I got to get to a lot of things, and I want to get to, talk to me about your guys' experience now in the Riot in the Ring. What was that experience like? And I know for Vargas where I'm going to go, but I know Shock is going to have at least a different perspective, I would hope.
Well, I feel like I should just start my experience.
You should start, actually. Good to be the opener.
It's way different.
Obviously.
So the whole concept of the Riot in the Ring was obviously in its name, the Riot in the Ring.
Yes.
I like to think that I'm a civil man. I got standards. You know what I mean? Like, I got standards. You know what I mean? I can get dirty when need be, but I got class. So I went in there with some class. And the first round, it worked in my favor. I got through the whole match with Caster, not a single weapon. I didn't use a weapon. I mean, I got a hit with a few, but I didn't personally use anything. My morals were my morals.
It's rare. It's rare in our. Well, I'm laughing because it's rare in our circuit that somebody comes on and says, "I've got morals." I've got morals now. So, I mean, I guess you're the first person I've met now on Sportswire, at least in a long time. Maybe in the British independence, but that's a couple of years now. That said, I have morals. That's why I'm not using weapons. I mean, do continue, Mr. Vargas, before I put the matches up on the screen.
So since I'm a man of morals, by the second round, I felt confident. As you already spoke, I'm a confident person.
Yes, I did. Correct.
So I'm going to the match with Power Surge. My confidence is through the roof. Who the fuck is Power Surge? He can't beat Mickey Vargas.
You did realize, I'm sure, you looked at who Power Surge was, though, right?
Well, I did look, and looks don't intimidate. They don't intimidate me.
But he's different, though. But he's different, though.
I locked up with Power Surge. And
all right, I want to hear this.
And I tried to move the man. He didn't budge. And like, if you go watch the tapes back,
I saw the match when it happened. I'm gonna put the match up and listen. He's a man. I've had him on my platform like 3 times. Like you could have just texted me on Facebook Messenger about it. I would have told you, you can't move him. The dude is like the strongest guy I've ever seen in my life in this circuit. He's more stronger than like guys in WWE. No joke. Like he's literally like probably stronger than like half the WWE roster. I mean,
bro is built. All right, bro is built, and I learned that the hard way. Right?
Yeah, you did.
Extra hard way, but even still, you know what I mean. I got my little side effect in there. My big old side effect. The 1, 2, I thought I had him for the 3. He kicked out. Now, in my eyes, if you kick out of that, I got to kind of put my morals to the side.
I think the moral of the story was you had Power Surge, and you could have just messaged me on Facebook about Power Surge, and I would have been like, well, you could have probably tried. Well, you might need like another ring for Power Surge. You know that, right? Like he's so big. He's he's so big that literally, like, I know you guys have like a nice setup, but you may have to reevaluate the size of your setup. If you're gonna have this house party as big as it is, I would say with Power Surge, like I said, Mr. Shock, Power Surge is as big as guys like in WWE and bigger than in most cases like half that roster. So, I would just.
All 3's got a weak point. They could be knocked
out. And I thought Mr. Shockey would at least be of your interest to allow me to put one match up against the most recent guest in Rob O'Malley. I thought you'd be appreciative of that, Mr. Shock.
Yeah, Rob O'Malley. I've only known him for maybe 4 short years, short amount of time, but he's come a long way from WCW, from being a fan to a guy that wanted to wrestle with a bunch of hard hitters to who he is now. He's come a really long way and proved that. He deserves to be where he is.
Absolutely. It's so funny you said that. I couldn't agree with you more because I really felt that he was a guy that was, I don't want to say under the radar in the tournament, but now going into the All Wrestling Matters hardcore tournament, ironically enough, he's wrestling Gabe Sayers. Everything revolves around Gabe Sayers, but he's wrestling Gabe Sayers, and I kind of feel like he's a dark horse in this. He's a guy that, he gets past Gabe Sayers. I mean, and both those guys could be guys that could win the All Wrestling Matters hardcore tournament. I mean, Gabe was obviously, very far in the tournament in his own right in the Riot in the Ring. But I mean, this match here, it's almost right now, guys. Both of them have a lot of momentum going into it, and I think that's O'Malley's a guy. It's good to see a guy like O'Malley get some flowers because, like you said, he's come a long way. He's become a guy that. You've seen him in a tag team with Javi Kent. You've seen him mix it up with Eddie XL. You see him here with you, and I think that's good stuff. And it's good to see, in a way, RWA guys get that, kind of recognition because the RWA was what it was and such.
He also comes from WCW, and
yes.
There's a couple of unseen WCW matches that are going to be unposted, and I duked it out with him, and I believe it was either a Fatal 4 or a Triple Threat match, and that was one of the first times I wrestled him, and he's just gotten better every time since then.
I even have a match with Rob O'Malley in WCW that's going to go unseen for
the very last WCW show.
WCW, it's become a topic these last few months on Sportswire, and it's like all that footage, all that footage. You know, all that footage. You know,
It's heartbreaking.
who owns the library and how much? How much is the library?
Yeah, right. Yeah, get that.
How,
Get that.
oh, I know who to ask, but I mean, it was kind of a joke and poke it fun. But I do have to ask you, Mr. Shock, about Stefan Havoc and the match you had with Stefan Havoc, because I had Havoc here, and I'll put it up for a few minutes because I do have to get to some other things with you guys. But I mean, Stefan Havoc, that match, that was the match I think people are still talking about. I actually think, even though, sure, LaFlame, Holiday, and Surge was a hell of a main event, Leonidas and LaFlame, and you had your match with O'Malley here. There was a lot of great matches in the Riot in the Ring. The one with you and Havoc is probably the one that people might still be talking about to this day. And what made that match what it was?
What made it what it was? It's because of what it wasn't. I'm not a hardcore wrestler by any means. I'm not a deathmatch wrestler. When it came down to it, it was pure adrenaline. I don't know if you saw when I came out there, everybody had me hyped, and I knew it was a big game or nothing. So a lot of the guys here like to make a joke because John Cena is one of my favorite wrestlers. But when you put Shock in the situation, Big Match Shock comes out and
boy, you and Vegas Storm, peas in a pod. Vegas Storm loves John Cena, but so you wrote. Well, yeah, well, a lot of us did. We're all in the same age range, and yet Super Cena. It's different show, different time. That's a sad thing in itself. Next year is his final year, but so you're saying then that from your vantage point, the crowd kind of lifted you up more or less.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the crowd. I go with what they feel. If they're not into it, I'm not into it. If they get me hyped, they were all just ready to go, and I was ready to go because they were ready to see me go.
Did it help that, though, you were familiar with Havoc going into this? Obviously, the history from RWA, and you knew him, I'm sure, very well from that and other things, but specifically last year's RWA. I mean, did that help at all?
I know him. I know Steph very well. He's one of my very close friends. But this is one of our very first singles matches. We've had, I believe, a multi-man tag team match in RWA, which
yep.
But seeing him here, getting him in a one-on-one match, and seeing what he could actually do in his element, he's deadly. It was. I didn't know what to expect, honestly.
So in a way, did it feel almost like, even though, sure, you've had some success, I'll touch upon it for in a few minutes, but did it feel like also, and we're obviously waiting for, there you go. So as I was going to say, did it feel like almost that you and Havoc were getting a chance to be on a big stage for the first time? Did it feel kind of that way in a sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people, I hate to say it, but a lot of people expect a lot out of me, and when they do, I kind of have to outperform my last performance. If that makes sense.
Why do they expect so much out of you for the audience?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they expect so much, but they know they're going to get something good, and I can't leave them hanging. I want to give them a good show just because I know I can.
So it's almost pressure that you put on yourself.
Kinda. I have a pre-match ritual where I get all psyched out and I don't talk to anybody. I stay away until I'm ready to go.
No, you know what? I got to tell you the truth, even though you can't compare with here, of course, with Shock and Mickey Vargas of Home Backyard Wrestling. They're going to have a big show, WrestleCade 2, this Saturday, also October 12th at Shock's Party. It's an open invite for anybody, anywhere. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. Please support the guys, Home Backyard Wrestling. I will put the YouTube page back up here, but we're watching Stefan Havoc and then King Shock in the Riot in the Ring Round 1 first part main event. It's funny though, because I kind of have a ritual. I have to walk around. I have to pace myself. I have to basically almost work myself up into a situation. So, everybody has rituals. There was a famous baseball player, Wade Boggs. Every time Wade Boggs would get ready for a game, he'd have to have a piece of chicken. I mean, there are people that just have, rituals. No, yeah, unfortunately, there was a guy that pitched for the Mets years ago, Turk Wendell. His ritual would be he'd have to basically not touch the white line, the white chalk lines, and basically have to always go right over. Because if he touched it, all of a sudden he'd have like voodoo. So everybody has rituals. So maybe in a way, the pressure, but also as we're about to see the thumbtacks here, because you were with Havoc, maybe that put more pressure on you because he's a hardcore guy. And Havoc, and Havoc's a guy that has made his name into the hardcore deathmatch scene.
Yeah, we when you saw he just smacked you with the thumbtacks there, and I was trying to bring him in first, and I knew from that point on it was pedal to the floor, everything goes. I wasn't there was no slowing down at that point.
Oh, I could definitely see. No, you're definitely not slowing down at this point, and Mr. Havoc does his own, Havoc-ton or Swanton, and it's going back and forth there. And I definitely recognize who the referee is. Shout out to the referee because he just followed me on Instagram a week or so ago, so I know who the referee is. But so in a situation like this, you're not a hardcore wrestler. How do you prepare for something like this?
There's like I said, there's no way to prepare for that. Like I was saying about the ladder match, it's literally just a human car wreck. Just be ready. I went in there expecting to dish out as much punishment as I was going to take, and I was right.
Well, no question about it. It was a hell of a match. We watched it. I watched it live when it happened. I was in the chat. I watched it here with Havoc. I'm watching it here with you. And I mean, do you get nervous then when you're in matches like you don't have? Because it's funny because I listen to some people talk and some wrestlers say, "Oh, it doesn't matter what the match you're in. Anything can happen out there. So you have to be a certain way." But were you nervous going into a match like this because you haven't done it, or it's the same as every match you go into?
So going into it, I was really nervous. More nervous, obviously, than usual because I didn't know what to expect. But once I was in the mix of it and I had all those thumbtacks in my back, there was, like I said, there was no slowing down. So I knew it was at that point couldn't get any worse than what it was. So let's fucking go.
Well, you definitely did that here for sure. And Mr. Havoc, who I'm sure you caught what he had to say. He was basically like, "Well, I made a statement. That's what I was here for. And I guess that was that." But I mean, you did really well in the Riot in the Ring. You were in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. You were just right there in this. And how do you look back on that experience and the success that you had? And we see, obviously, we lost Mr. Vargas and Mr. Shock. I'm sure they'll come right back in. And there you go. I lost you there for a second. So I was going to say, how do you feel about your experience then in terms of the success that you had? Because you went very far in the Riot in the Ring, Shock. How did you feel about that?
To make it as far as I have, it's an honor and a blessing that I got pretty fucked up, but it could have been a lot worse. To be in there with the people that I was in, it was a lot of dream matches and dreams come true. To be with I wanted to try and match up there with Doc and Gabe, and I was lucky enough to actually step in there with them and and dish out just as much as they were able to give me. And I posted that couple clips a little bit ago on my Instagram.
Yes,
it's probably one of my favorite triple threat matches to date, and triple threat matches are my favorite types of matches.
So, interesting.
I want to. Anything can happen in a triple threat match.
Absolutely, and Mr. Vargas is going to need that advice for sure for your unwanted brother in there. But let me ask you guys both this question, and I see James Taylor is here. He wants to say hello. Also, Stephen Havoc says he went easy on you. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how easy this would have been. But for both of you guys, was there anybody there that you got a chance to meet that either you were surprised at how well you liked them, or was there one person you really wanted to meet in the Riot in the Ring that you hadn't got a chance to meet there at that event? Was it for you, Mickey? Anybody in particular?
Yeah, Gabe Sayers.
That's a good one.
I've heard a lot of stuff about Gabe from Jeff and other wrestlers. Obviously, watched TF Crew and UWF, and
hi, Mom.
So that was the person I was like, "Oh, Gabe's gonna be there. Oh, I gotta connect with Gabe." Like,
Mom.
Totally, no, totally. And listen, I realize we're coming toward near the end of the show soon, so I get that point. So let me get to a couple more comments while we let Mr. Shock come in here, and I see the point of the match. We'll take this off the screen for now because I obviously realize that they're in the interest of time. Also, we will have here in about, I'd say, 45 or 50 minutes, Trey Mysticality of XCW and ALW. So I'm going to take a break eventually, come back on here. Also, let me get to some comments. Mickey and Shock, what are you doing in December or January?
Nothing.
You sure?
I'm yours, bro.
Nothing.
Oh!
I'm coming for that belt.
Ooh. Luke says he needs to get out and wrestle more.
Yeah, he does.
Let me ask you guys this question. I have to ask it in the interest of time. I know I've got only so much more time with you. Benny Blanks, what did he mean to you guys? And talk about the person he was and really how important he is to home backyard wrestling.
Benny was one of our biggest supporters, honestly.
Don't worry, we're gonna end soon, Mr. Shock. Don't worry about it. I know we're getting to daddy time.
Benny was one of our biggest supporters as far as backyard wrestling, underground wrestling goes. As you can see on Mickey's hoodie, we got Benny right in the middle of the home because he was one of our biggest supporters at home.
I did.
XTCW had one of our biggest involvements. He designed the Unwanted's logo. He did a lot for us, and it means a lot that he was as big of a supporter that he was to us, and he was really especially close to Don Keyballs, and the fact that he's not here is he's not here, and you can tell he's not here, but we still perform and we still act like he's not like he hasn't missed a show, and we still act like he's still here with us, and we try to honor him as best we can by having the best type of wrestling that we could do.
No question about that. We'll certainly always keep our thoughts and prayers. And I mean, for each of you guys, if you guys had one or two moments that stand out most in your careers, what would they be? Both of you guys.
Well, I've done so much. It's really hard to pinpoint one thing. The probably one of the better things that I've done lately is just a highlight is getting in the last 2 years is getting to travel and meet as many people as I have, and I regret not doing that. I'm 31 now. I've been doing this since I was 16, and I regret not doing that a lot sooner. But I feel like there's a reason for everything because I didn't have the skill and I wasn't as good as I am now as I was then.
Hey, I was talking to one guys I won't name, and he was saying, I wish I would have did this and that. I'm like, no, listen, you're here right now, and you can only go forward. The past is the past, and I think that's a good point. For you, Mr. Vargas, I know obviously you might have one or two moments there that are pretty big, and what about for you?
Well, in my opinion, I'm just getting my break. I'm just getting started. So I don't really have many moments I look back on besides the ride in the ring. As much as it ain't going in my favor, I look back at that as like a moment that I look highly on. You know what I mean? That's something I never done before. I can check that off my list. But I'm just getting started. I haven't accomplished anything in this industry yet. Underground, backyard, indie. I haven't accomplished anything. And this upcoming years, I'm gonna start making a name for myself. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, you're making a name for yourself here on Sportswire Radio because you're getting a chance to meet a lot of people here, and I'm going to be here in a little while again, also with Trey Mysticality. So certainly we'll keep up with that, and obviously we want to give our thoughts and prayers to the family of Benny, and we certainly will miss him, and we'll do our best to always honor him here on this platform. And I got to ask you, Mr. Shock, I know we're in the interest of time. I know you got babies and kid stuff to go on to do, but what was it like being one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions with a guy that a lot of people know in Darren Crow? What was that like?
That was all right. So now that's probably one of the best.
That's a good one. Say, I got you back.
That's probably one of my better career highlights right there. we called ourselves the best effing friends for a reason because we felt like we were two of the best around and we deserved a lot more credit than what we were due for. And Mark, he really gave us that platform to break out and be the best wrestlers that we could be. And not too much history is known about WCW, but I know it. The longest reigning WCW tag champs, they held the gold for it was like 7 years because WCW's been around for 20. Darren and I have the honor, the esteemed honor of holding that title for exactly a year before we had to drop it due to unfortunate circumstances. But that's definitely one of my career highlights. We went and defended against some of the best wrestlers in the continental United States. Marcus Senafonte and Sid Blade, Jeff Nova, and
Jeff Nova is a guy that comes up here all the time on Sports. Another guy that's elusive, like that, but he's not really in our chats. Doc is he loves Sportswire. He's busy doing Jeff Nova things, so it's all good.
Yeah. But yeah,
great guy though. I've spoke to him before.
If I could go back, man, that was probably some of my favorites in backyard wrestling or wrestling period. That was a legendary run. We broke in with Javi, and it was time for us to break out on our own because Javi was telling us too much of what to do. And once we did that, it was nothing but up from there. They strapped a rocket to our back, and
I know Javi. Are we talking about the same Javi I'm thinking of right now? I think
Javi Kent.
Yep, who's coming to Sportswire Radio, I believe, this week. And I was like, oh, boy, this world, it all revolves around. It's like it goes round and round and round. Reminds you of that song, Round, World Goes Round and Round. Javi Kent.
Javi's invited to the party, too. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Oh, I'm going to ask him about that. You better believe I'm going to ask. I have Javi here, I think, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I have to double check. Now I have to make sure he's really coming now because I thought he was coming. Now I have to make sure he's coming. But yeah, Javi's supposed to be here. What a small world. Obviously, Rob and Javi are tag team partners, and
it's another guy that Zach Depew and Rob O'Malley. We were on a.
I know Zach Depew. I know the guy. I know Zach Depew very well.
WCW, man. It's pretty funny because, like I was saying earlier, I hate when people put a lot of pressure on me because then I don't feel like I'm a very big deal, but when it comes down to it, a lot of people, they're affiliated with me. So it's, for use of a better term, I like to make jokes. A lot of people like to use my meal ticket and they cash in on my meal ticket. But I would really like that to not just be me. I would like my, Shock and his guys. No, I would like it to be Shock and Mickey or Shock and Mickey and Luke, or you know what I'm saying? I would like the affiliation to be beyond just me. I want the meal ticket to extend beyond just my name. I feel like I don't deserve just me. And these guys have been putting in just as much work as I have. Not just him, JTA, E-Breeze, Luke, everyone. Grimes over at home, all those guys. And not just at home. You got Javi and Rob O'Malley who've been traveling. You got Viper who's been putting in a lot of work. I look forward to seeing her. I can't stress that enough. But a lot of these people, they need their flowers. They need their just dues.
No, absolutely. And I think that's what we're going to start doing that here on Sportswire. Eddie Exile was here. It was an honor to have him. And, we have Javi's coming here. And, it's great that we get to see some of the usuals on Sportswire all the time. But, there's a lot of great talents out there, especially in the underground and backyard circuit. And before we, say sayonara soon, and this is where you could find home on YouTube. Check them out on Instagram. Yardcade 2 is coming up this Saturday. Please go to these links right here on Instagram and YouTube. You want to get in touch with Shock there. There's some more details. Mickey's on TikTok and Instagram, Mickey Vargas 716. Please support you guys. Yes. Follow you on Instagram and TikTok, Mickey Vargas 716. I'll put the Instagram back up here in a minute, but that's the YouTube page. Hit the sub button if you're here with us. Please do that. All right. Is there anything else that about home, yourselves, anything before we get ready for final thoughts?
Well, without going into too much business for myself, all I got to say is...
No, go into business. You're on Sportswire. Go into business for yourself, please.
Keep an eye on home. We got a lot coming this Saturday. A lot. Some of the best things you'll ever see in wrestling are gonna be happening at home. As far as Shocky's house party goes, I want to see the best there. If the best aren't going to be there, then I'm going to cancel this show. If I'm only going to get 10, 13, 14 people, this show's not worth it.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna make your life a lot easier because I get to be here every night until my voice basically drops or somebody cancels me off the air. But I'm gonna mention this now the next 2 months. So I'm in a lot. I will actually. You know what? I will make your life a lot easier. I'm in a lot of group chats. I'm in Discord chats, and I will add both of you gentlemen to those chats. Or off the air.
Bring them on down. I don't.
No, I'll actually put you. I'll just put you right into the chats. You could just. I'll put you right into them. I mean, I created all of them, so I'll just put you in all of them. So we'll take care of that when we're off the air. So that's easier said than done. And anything else from Mickey? Yes.
Tell her she needs to be there for that Shocky's house party. Viper.
Who is that?
You can flake on All Wrestling Matters tournament, but you can't flake on Shock. That's you can't do this to me. More than anything.
Absolutely. No. Listen, we want everybody. Yeah, we don't want Viper to flake. No. Viper, definitely, we want Viper to be there. I hate when anybody flakes. So everybody out there, I want people to go out there and watch. I want one.
Stoner, Eddie Exile, bring them all.
You know, Eddie Exile, I got to say, I guess we'll see, but I'm supposed to meet Eddie Exile in New York City in the next month or so because he lives actually closer to New York City than you guys. He's in, I think he's just outside the Bronx, if I'm not mistaken, or he might be in the Bronx.
I met him in one of WCW's last shows last year. I got some footage of that on my Instagram, but that's probably something that'll never see the light of day as far as.
You know what? And Eddie was here. It was a major sore subject there too. You know, it's what it is. And I saw your buddies with Hardcore as well. My old friend Hardcore, Mr. Speaking of people.
Yeah, it's one of my closest friends out there.
Well, you know what? I'm going to mention to Total Effing Chaos on Monday's show because I got Will here. I'm going to make sure that I bring up your party. I'm going to bring it up because
he knows I'm doing it. You got to harass all these people.
Oh, I have a guest on in 45 minutes. I'm going to make sure I harass him too. So listen, I'm on every night. So I'll make sure I harass the entire circuit, which all I do anyway. But if you want to see some more stuff here before we sign off, we got the Cleaners in action, triple threat match. We got a lot of the great stuff here on the horizon. We got the world title match. A lot. Just go support Home Backyard Wrestling. I can't stress this enough. This is their Instagram page, their YouTube page. I've been putting up throughout the show. I've been putting these guys' Instagram pages up. These guys are definitely on our level. They're on our team. They're down to earth. They're exactly what we need. I'm so happy that we connected with them. Shout out to obviously everybody that made it possible. The guys in NEW, Stephen Havoc. Just really, really happy to have these guys here and finally good to have New Yorkers here. And I tell you what, maybe next time you guys come on, maybe you join Stephen Havoc in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame next month. How do you like that? Because I got to get New Yorkers in the Hall of Fame. I don't have too many New Yorkers. I got Stephen Havoc and another guy with 3 initials who was in RWA. You can guess who that is. Let's not even go there. So maybe next month you guys can come back on here and we can figure out a time and talk more about October 12th. How do you think that sounds?
That would be perfect.
That sounds real good.
I greatly appreciate you letting us on here and letting us spread our names.
No. Listen, you're welcome next month. This was good. This was a good interview. Let's do it another one next month, maybe a little earlier. So I know you have daddy duties, and we can let you guys spend time with that. And let's definitely do it next month so we can promote the show and get to some different stuff. And yes, Zilla says hi to Gabe Sayers, but Gabe Sayers left the chat. But yes, James Taylor is the owner of ROEW, and he knows about it. And I'm going to put these guys in group chats with some of these people here shortly. All right, is there any closing thoughts you guys got for me before we say sayonara? Anything else you guys want to say? Anything else?
Stay on the lookout for the unwanted. Big 716 coming to a city near you.
I like that. Listen, 716, definitely do not want to confuse them with the 585. Definitely don't confuse them with the 585 or the other zip codes out there, other area codes. Yes.
DMs are open. You want Shock at your show? You want Mickey at your show? You know where to find us.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to make sure that those DMs definitely are open. I'm going to make sure that these guys get a chance to be in business, and I'm very excited to have these guys on because these guys definitely are on my team, and I hope you're going to be on their team too, and they're going to join the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame next month to get us ready for October the 12th. And Joe Starr had the eyeballs, and Joe Starr said, he's looking at you guys. He's always looking at things. Looking at those. We should be 2 eyes. Yeah, but it should actually be 2, 1 and 1, not 2 and 2. But yeah, Joe Star. And Joe Star, I'm waiting for you to come on the Sportswire. That's a different conversation for a different time. But that's a good point. Thank you. But fellas, this was a lot of fun. I am really excited about what's to come. Anybody from home is definitely welcome on Sportswire as well coming up. Really enjoyed the product. You guys got a lot of great things I'm excited of. It's a lot of fun having you here. Good to finally have New Yorkers on my platform for a change. And congratulations on the success. Looking forward to watching Yardcade 2. Looking forward to October 12th and everything else in between. And thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you for having us.
Honor. Thank you.
No, listen, pleasure's all mine. And Joe, we'll definitely be in talks tomorrow on the show because I'm going to get on soon in a little bit. But we were joined here by From Home Backyard Wrestling. Obviously, please support them on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. We were joined by Shock, who was formerly one half of the WZW Tag Team Champions. The man that could very well be the next home backyard, head of the household, heavyweight champion, Mr. Mickey Vargas himself, the main event. He may be the main effing event, but he very well be the world champion. Should it be this Saturday show? Kevin Brooks could very well have another thing coming in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. I'll be here in about 35 minutes or so with Trey Mysticality of ALW and XCW. What are we talking about? October 12th. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up every single night I get a chance to because I get to be here every night between that. And thank you so much, everybody who supported Sportswire and hit the sub buttons for us. And I'll be back here in a little while, and please support these guys. They're about all wrestling matters, and we were here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform, all wrestling matters. I'll see everybody in a little bit on Sportswire Radio.